I'm here with Christa Carone, CEO of Infillion. Kristen, thank you for coming today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Looking great, and how are you enjoying this beautiful sunshine?
Beautiful sunshine, always warm, but it's so nice, as everyone is saying. It's nice to see everybody in person.
That's right.
It's nice to be really back into a creative environment too.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you for being here. Before we really kind of get into it, I've been telling you, we run this event called the Brand Safety Summit series, and it's expanding. And we think about how do we expand the term brand safety. And one of the things that we think a lot about is brand safety is really a lot like the news, because whether it's an ad fraud attack or whether it's a data protection law change or what have you, essentially it's all current events.
Yep.
And so does that make sense to you, for us to be thinking about it that way?
It certainly does. I think that the definition of brand is very broad and deep, and as someone who, I spent the first half of my career on the brand side, so I was maniacal about protecting our brand, whether it was through reputation management or just some of our marketing initiatives. But when I think about brand safety right now, at any given moment, there's something that can dilute the integrity of your brand, and it's headline news.
Headline news.
Headline news, yeah.
Good. So anyway, been here a couple days. Mm-hmm. What's the most surprising, amazing, shocking thing you've seen so far?
You know what I'm loving is I definitely think we're back to celebrating creativity, which is the DNA of Cannes, and I think many of us just love that if you're a marketing or an advertising geek like I am. So even walking up and down and looking at the activations, there's a new level of creativity and engagement and people focusing more on experience.
Got it. And so what's Infillion doing this week? Like what are your big things you're trying to accomplish the next 4 or 5 days?
So Infillion is a new name in the advertising and marketing solutions
Congrats.
space. Thank you. We are a combination of a couple of ad tech companies that people are familiar with, Truax being one, which was the first consumer opt-in advertising product. And Gimbal is another core product in our portfolio, and Gimbal is a location-based consumer experience product. They all are rolled under a new portfolio company called Infillian. Mm-hmm. So this is our coming out party. We just launched our brand in February, and the brand has these amazing tentpole, innovative products behind it. But we're excited just to showcase the products that are in our portfolio and to demonstrate the ways that advertising and marketing are converging in order to deliver a respectful consumer experience.
So you have all days of activation at the Majestic.
Yep, we're at the Majestic. Full days of showcases, introducing ways that people can experience advertising in the metaverse, across CTV, across gaming platforms, you name it.
Infillion. Yeah, nice.
Like million, trillion.
Yeah.
And the genesis of that is there are infinite number of data sources that influence who we are as consumers.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So on to the news. The news topic that we think that makes the most sense for you and I to chat about is data protection.
Yeah.
And so, but the question is, why is the death of the cookie, which everybody seems to be talking about, the wrong question?
Yeah, I don't think the conversation is around the deprecation of the cookie, and I think the conversation needs to be more around the rise of addressability. And how do we do it in such a way that's respectful of consumers' time and attention and privacy? When we've conducted some research on this, first of all, we find that about 70% of consumers aren't really paying attention to advertising at all. And the other 30% maybe here at Cannes because we're advertising people. But regardless of that, we are all accustomed to having advertising that's relevant for us. So we really don't want the deprecation of the cookie to decrease the relevancy of the consumer marketing. So let's think about ways that we can address your interests, but be safe and private and maintain that integrity of your privacy in the process.
Right, because I often like to say, if you're at work and you're a marketer and your job is to go and find new customers, and obviously I want to leverage my customer base and I want to use them, the worst case possible scenario is someone knocks on your door and says, you're fired because you shared your data with somebody you shouldn't have, right? And so the data protection conversation about the people who work in the industry, it's about consumers, it's not about the tech necessarily, right? It's about kind of how do you think about it. And I think that very, very often we're not focusing on the people,
Yeah.
you know, and kind of what they do.
No, I
So-
think it's a fair point. And not only the people who are producing the technology, but the way that we present the technology or your ability or inability to opt in, there's a whole user interface around that.
Right.
And there's also behavioral economics that I find fascinating, and we watch it generationally as well. So younger people who may not be as concerned about sharing their private information, then do we have more responsibility to age gate access to certain data, because younger people more naturally are going to opt in to more. So it really does come back to the responsibility that we hold as gatekeepers of the data.
Got it. Great. Well, thank you, Christa. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks so much
you.
for doing this.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. That's the news live from Cannes.